Yeah.
And then we're going to talk about this, which is pretty much why grinding 24/7 is probably a bad idea. Why we shouldn't be grinding 24/7. I also agree with this. You know, you get stretched thin, and it's just a matter of time. Like, how long can you bear busting your ass for? This video, older brother. We'll move into the next segment here. What is this video by older brother? Why grinding 24/7 is the worst advice you'll ever hear. Now, this is a famous cut. This is going to start off with the famous cut from Tristan Tate. And I honestly don't think like anyone should have ever taken these dudes serious, like that seriously. But people do because this is the internet, and I think that's kind of hilarious. You know, people have taken me seriously already, and I'm kind of trying to just be a comedian here, and entertain you guys. So that's it.
And I'll wake up 1 minute before that at 5:59, minus 1 minute sleep. That's what I.
You've made no progress. None.
Get back to fucking work.
Stop. I don't know who needs to hear this, but this mindset will not make you successful. Over the past 3 years, I've started multiple businesses and all of them failed. Want to know why? Because I thought I had to be angry and grinding all the time. Work 16 hours a day, your competition's getting ahead, stop being a little bitch. These angry thoughts filled my mind all day long. I remember being out at dinners with my family, but I was never really there. The only thing on my mind was the business that I was working on at the time and nothing else. While a certain level of obsession is needed for success, you need to stop hating yourself for not working 24/7. This angry, hustle mindset will only set you back, and I'm going to convince you to stop thinking this way. I want you to think of someone who's achieved your goals or dream level of success. Let's say your dream is to be a podcaster and your goal is to be on the same level as Joe Rogan. Look at Joe Rogan. Does he look like he's angry, hustling 24/7, just thinking how to grow the podcast? No, not at all. In fact, he's incredibly chill and relaxed every time we see him. Of course, to have the biggest podcast in the world, you have to work very hard, but it looks like he's just having fun. He's so successful, and he makes it look so effortless. Why is this? Well, there are two types of goals that people have. I call them front-facing goals and back-facing goals. Think of front-facing goals as things you do in the public.
I feel like I heard this background music in like a Little Boat song. And I'm trying to remember what the song is, but it's just playing and I'm hearing it and I'm thinking to myself like, huh. So I'm trying to remember what the lyrics are.
Public eye. These are things like public speaking, content creation, talking with clients, and even finding a partner. Joe Rogan's podcast is a great example of a front-facing goal. Back-facing goals are things that you're able to do on your own without much interaction with others. These are things like coding, investing, writing, or working out. You don't really have to talk to people or deal with others at all. It's mostly solo. Now, let's look at these two types of goals and see what the outcome is when you approach it with an angry, work 24/7 type of mind.
So I kind of know where he's going with this. Honestly, from my own personal anecdote, I've tried to do this and I would get burnt out. I would start feeling depressed. I would feel like there's just too much stuff going on that I'm trying to do. And then I feel like I'm overwhelmed by the amount of projects that I'm doing, and that I'm always trying to like use my time efficiently. And that's also part of the problem here. It's like you can't always use your time efficiently. Like you do need to turn your brain off a little bit for a little while and let it decompress. But in the beginning of my career, you know, I focused hard on trying to solve real complex problems and make myself valuable. And that was a really hard grind. And then I did this throughout like the first 4 or 5 years of my career, and I was treated like shit. Getting laid off, you know, twice in my early career, which I think that's crazy. And knowing for a fact that in both times that I've been laid off, it wasn't due because I hit a low in my performance or anything like that, that put me on some list. It's real cutthroat. If you're last in, you're going to be first out. And when you're in the beginning of your career, you know, you're technically last in, right? Because you just got there. Okay? Now, I've been in my workplace, my current workplace, for over 3 years now. And I'm thankful for that. Because the point of wanting to work somewhere or trying to stay somewhere is for career advancement. At least that's what it's supposed to be. But these days, it's not so much that way, right? So, anyway, enough of my yapping. Let's hear what he has to say.
Mindset. For the front-facing goal, let's say you want to be a YouTuber. You go, watch a David Goggins hype video, get all motivated, then script, film, and edit for 15 hours a day, every single day. You're doing all this hard work, but how do you think people watching your videos are going to perceive you? You're putting in the reps on your end, but the product, a sleep-deprived, on-edge, negative energy person talking on camera. No one wants to watch that.
This is insightful. This is insightful. I mean, it's true. But some people do want to watch it. I mean, like, I've been seeing channels of people blowing up about, they don't want to work a 9 to 5 or this and that. And I totally agree with him here, I've been doing YouTube now for almost, I guess, a month now. And, I mean, in my first month, I've done well. And I realized right away where I was putting too much time. So I think I'm lucky in the sense that I reflected on everything I was doing for this and then just reduced the amount of work that I was putting into it. The amount of work for me had to be enough where it's like, this feels easy to make this kind of content and enjoyable because I wanted this to be fun. Where it's like, yeah, I don't want to be making videos where I look like a crackhead, so that's why I wear a mask. No, but I mean, like, I don't want to make videos where I look super tired, I'm super negative, I feel like shit, I don't really want to do it. And it goes without saying that, like, if you are in that kind of state of mind, just don't do it. And it's okay not to do it. It's okay not to stream. It's okay to just stop midstream if you're not feeling it. Like, if you're not feeling it, if you're doing this and you're not feeling it, walk away from it, dude. Just take a break.
Now imagine if you got 8 hours of sleep, spent the morning playing basketball with friends, then sat down to film your video. By default, you're going to be more positive, have more energy, and as a result, see more channel growth. Just answer the question, who the fuck wants to do business with someone who's subtly angry all the time? No one. I don't care how good you think you are at shutting off your work mode mind. Humans are very good at reading subtle cues like body language and micro-expressions, and this is especially true in things like public speaking, dealing with clients, or making friends. And if you still don't believe me, look at the king of this never stop working until you're successful mindset, Andrew Tate. While he preaches to everyone to work 24/7 and how he's always on his laptop doing work, watch any one of his Tate Confidential episodes. What's he doing? Driving fast cars, traveling with friends, and doing dumb challenges. Even if he is technically working, he's smiling and joking around the whole time. He's chill, having fun with what he does. He's not.
This is like huge. Some of y'all need this. This is so huge. This makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? He's working, but doing stuff that he enjoys doing, and he's a millionaire. I mean, I don't agree with everything Andrew Tate says, but like this, I mean, I agree with the notion there. Like, checkmate. He's made a lot of money. And I don't even know if it's all through legal means. I'm not looking up to this guy. I'm just saying, like, he's doing something right. He's enjoying his life right now. So, well, from what you can see on media, because who knows? Maybe Romanian police are coming and butt fucking him every night. Who knows?
Not angry 24/7, sitting in a corner grinding away. But you may still be wondering, what about back-facing goals? If it's just me in a room working alone, there should be no effect on how others perceive me. You're forgetting one key person, you.
100%, dude. So this is something I learned with programming and coding. So like I would be stuck, focused on learning data structure, learning off language methods if I'm learning a new language, or basically trying to practice like I remember just trying to build things on my own, and I would grind, dude, for like 6-7 hours a day with no job. I had quit my job at one point just to grind coding, just to learn how to code really well, to get to the point where I was confident enough to get an internship. And then I got an internship, and that's where that was the pivoting point for my career.
To understand why this hustle 24/7 mindset doesn't work for back-facing goals, let's look at what the research says. One of the most famous psychology studies was Pavlov's dog experiment. In this experiment, Pavlov trained dogs to associate the sound of a bell with food. Every time the dogs heard the bell, they'd start salivating, even if there was no food in sight. Why? Because they'd mentally link the sound of a bell to the reward. Now, imagine you're in that scenario, but instead of a bell and food, it's your work in a negative, angry mindset. Every time you force yourself to sit down and work, you're mentally conditioning yourself to feel stressed out, annoyed, and downright pissed off. This creates a negative association with the work itself. Your brain links the tasks with frustration and exhaustion. So, what's the outcome? When work is always connected to these harsh emotions, you become less motivated, less creative, and more likely to burn out. And the worst part, even if you try to take a break or try to relax, your brain stays in this anxious, on-edge state because it's been trained to associate taking a break with you being lazy. And if you're watching this video, I can almost guarantee that you know the feeling when you're sitting there knowing that you should be working, but work just feels so painful to get started on, but you also feel pain just sitting there and not working. It puts you in this weird state of limbo where you feel angry when working and guilty when not working. So what's the solution here? Well, simply approach work with a more casual, fun mindset. Look at my YouTube channel. I'd say it's decently successful. Right now, I'm sitting in a coffee shop in Manhattan, house music playing in my AirPods, drinking a Celsius. I'm having a great time right now, and while I am technically working, it's super chill and fun for me. Start adding.
So obviously, he's in a very privileged position to do this. Like, I totally agree with the notion, though, of, like, trying to make your work fun, but I feel like this is a little bit of a far-fetched statement to be generalizing. Because in the majority of jobs, you just gotta be doing what you gotta be doing. Like, I'm not saying you can't have fun as an electrician. Like, I'm sure that they have plenty of fun when they're doing their job, but like also at the same time, I imagine they do a lot of work that's very hard and isn't fun or enjoyable. But then again, associating negative emotion, like feelings with like anger and stuff, that's definitely going to make you feel like you don't want to do your job. That's plain and simple. But taking a break shouldn't make you feel like you're lazy. That's a thing. I think that's just a toxic work culture thing that we're starting to adapt, and it's because companies want to make you milk every single minute out of your day as if like you are productive at every single minute out of the day. But you're human, and we just do not work that way. Like, it's just that simple. But I think he's partly right. Partly right in the sense that if you associate negative things with your job, obviously you're going to have a bad time.
Adding hobbies to your life, hang out with family and friends, go to those fun events that you usually skip. Of course, schedule long enough hours for you to actually get work done, but make sure you're not just being a robot. Especially for those front-facing goals, you cannot expect to have no hobbies, work 16 hours a day, then go and speak to people. If you're trying to pitch to an investor or close a client, you have to be able to talk about normal things out in the real world. Talking to people isn't just about knowing how to speak, it's about having experiences to talk about. And for back-facing goals, do not say how strong your mind is and the negativity is good for you. If you ever feel resistance against working, your brain already has negative associations tied with work. Think of the most successful people that you admire. They all have one thing in common. They're all pretty chill. They know when to push, but they also know when to laugh, smile, and enjoy life.
So this is almost like a skill. And I'm not going to even lie to you. It feels like a skill. Okay, some people have a hard time doing this, but I feel like I'm still learning how to do this, right? So in my job, for instance, I get drained when I have problems that I can't solve right away. You start doing your job and you may get very ahead in your own work, but then you're blocked by external things, which can be very frustrating, right? And those frustrations lead to that negative mentality. And I realized that I needed a vacation when I went and took a vacation, because I was taking this vacation in December, and I realized, man, I work all the time and I'm in a shitty mood all the time, and I enjoy not working. Like, I enjoyed just doing nothing. for that period of time. And that was interesting to me. It helped me learn that I'm just tired and I need to step back a little bit from work. Like, one thing that he said in this video that really stood out to me is that I feel lazy when I'm taking a break. I feel like I'm not doing my job if I'm taking a break. And I feel like a part of that is that, like, 9 to 5, like, you got to be at your desk the whole day trying to solve these problems and figure these things out, especially when it comes to a job like where I'm just, what I do, where it's just coding and building stuff and then interacting with stakeholders and basically creating work based off of like what work is already done. Follow-up tickets, basically linking issues together and figuring out, how to debug them and whatnot, right? This is what you do in a coding job, right? It's a lot of critical thinking all the time. And it can also be disrupted, critical thinking, when you have a lot of meetings and you have a lot of basically projects that you're owning that are stretching you thin in an 8-hour workday, right? So just a little bit of insight. It's like, if you're feeling that way, you're definitely not lazy. You need to spend more time just chilling and, step back, take a break. Don't fall into the doomsday rabbit hole, though, of like, I'm going to quit my job and go live in my van because I'm tired of working,
Try letting go of the idea that you're not doing enough every time you're not grinding. Instead, focus on building a routine you enjoy, one that lets you live fully, not just as a work robot. And listen, I get it. There's a lot of pressure out there. Social media shows us these unrealistic hustle lifestyles, making us feel like we're falling behind if we're not working every single second. But in reality, real success looks a lot more balanced. Intentional work mixed with moments of genuine relaxation and joy. It's about knowing when to go all in and knowing when to step back. So here's my final challenge for you. For the next week, build a routine that includes work and play and see how you feel. See if you're more motivated, more creative, and ultimately closer to goals than ever before. Embrace the process, stay consistent, and most importantly, enjoy the ride.
Rad. I liked it.